I heard my wife mock me for being too dumb to catch her cheating, so I served divorce papers at her birthday in front of everyone. Hey, I'm Eric, 42. So, my job's all about focusing on the little details, which is kinda ironic considering what I'm about to share. I'm married to Daisy, she's 39, and we've been together forever, married for 15 years, dating for 2 before that. No kids, but we thought our life was pretty stable. We've got a nice house and decent jobs. I really thought we respected each other in our marriage. Now, Daisy has these friends who I always felt were a bit too chatty. And then there's the guy she had an affair with. I just found out who he is, and his poor wife has no idea about any of this. It wasn't like there was a huge blow up or anything, it was more like this slow drip that got worse over time, but I didn't see it coming. For the past 3 or 4 years, Daisy seemed more distant. She'd say work was getting crazier, needing more late nights and weekend meetings. That was her line. She also started hanging out more with her friends and coming home super late, smelling of booze and some perfume I didn't recognize. We definitely weren't as close, especially in the bedroom, but I chalked it up to stress or the usual marriage stuff. I even asked if we should see a counselor, but she shot it down, saying I was just being too sensitive. Before all this, life was pretty chill. Weekends in the garden or going for drives, cooking dinner together while chatting about our days. Daisy used to be so affectionate and fun. But that side of her just faded away. Our dinners became scarce as she started eating late after work stuff or grabbing food with friends. And there were all these little signs pointing to bigger issues. Like her phone, it was always around, but then it became glued to her hand, screen hidden from me. She changed passwords, saying they were for work security. Sounded plausible, given her job. We started bickering about silly things, like loading the dishwasher wrong or movies. It seemed like she was irritated just by my existence. She'd say I wasn't fun anymore or that I didn't get how stressed she was. If I tried to talk seriously about us, she'd just shrug it off or change the topic. On weekends, she'd make vague plans with friends, and I wasn't invited along. One Saturday, I suggested going to a festival we loved. She dodged it, saying she had plans which magically got cancelled later. About a year ago, she said she was off to a work retreat and even left a schedule printed out on the fridge. Her phone was off, so I called the hotel to check in. They didn't have anyone by her name, nor any event like she claimed. My stomach dropped. When she got back, she spun a tale about the retreat, but I calmly told her I had called the hotel. She blew up at me, claiming they switched hotels last minute due to a plumbing disaster and showed me a perfectly timed email as proof. Her spending habits also changed. More clothes, fancy salons, gifts for clients or friends. Our joint account was draining on stuff we hadn't discussed. I tried bringing up saving or budgeting, and she got mad, saying I was trying to control her. She was right, it was her money, but we used to talk about big expenses. The real eye-opener happened about 3 weeks ago, on a Tuesday evening. Daisy was in the study on a video call with her friends, which was kind of the norm. So, I was trying to listen to some tunes with my headphones, but I guess they weren't hooked up right. The sound came from the Bluetooth speakers in the kitchen instead. I was there whipping up a late-night sandwich, and I could hear a lot of noise coming from the study nearby. They were laughing like crazy. Then I caught Daisy's voice. She was in storyteller mode, cracking up her friends with tales about clueless Eric. Her laughter was this weird mix of humor and disgust, and she went on about how oblivious he was, saying he hadn't noticed a thing in 15 years. Ouch. Daisy moved on to talk about some guy named Troy, saying he's amazing compared to Eric. Her friends were loving it, asking for more details, and I was still standing there, sandwich bread in hand, feeling my blood freeze over. Daisy shared that she'd been seeing Troy for about 4 years, and even joked about almost getting caught a few times, claiming Eric's cluelessness made it too easy. Oh, and she mentioned Troy was married too, which she thought kept things less complicated. I couldn't take it anymore. I turned off the speakers and quietly slipped out of the kitchen. It was a bombshell. I'd been with her for almost 2 decades, and she was a stranger. The casual and cruel way she talked about it broke something inside me. I didn't confront her that night. Instead, I hit the sack, pretending like nothing happened, though it was super hard to keep a straight face. She came to bed later, all chipper, and asked if I was okay. I just said work had worn me out. The next day, I went about my usual routine, but inside, I was seething. Her words, too stupid to notice, kept playing on repeat in my head. I decided to show her just how sharp I could be. I needed proof, not just for me but for the eventual divorce. I started digging into our finances, bank accounts, credit card statements, all of it was an open book. I discovered the expensive spa weekends, fancy dinners, hotel stays, and gifts. The patterns emerged quickly. I found my old voice recorder from college, got new batteries, and hid it in her car. I knew recording her was iffy legally, but at this point, I didn't care. I also installed recovery software on our computer to find deleted stuff, emails, chats, photos, you name it. I turned into my own detective, spending late nights piecing everything together while she slept. The evidence piled up fast. The recorder picked up her calls with Troy and her friends, where she kept mocking me. The computer gave up deleted emails and photos of her with Troy, some pretty personal. There were also holiday shots she claimed were solo retreats or work trips. It felt like a punch to the gut, realizing she had this whole secret life. It's been 3 weeks since that night. I've been pretending everything's fine, chatting with her like nothing's wrong, but inside, I'm just cold. I've been quietly simmering for 3 weeks now, building my case against her. Those late nights spent digging through every bit of info, making copies, and organizing it all have finally paid off. I managed to uncover who Troy is, his full name, address, workplace, and, wait for it, he's married. Daisy didn't hide her digital tracks as well as she thought. She had Troy's number saved under a woman's name, but the constant messages and calls were a dead giveaway. I matched these up with stuff she said in recorded chats and did some sleuthing online, using little clues she dropped. The rabbit hole led me straight to Troy. His wife's social media is full of happy family pics, but that joy is about to hit a rough patch. I've got a multi-stage plan, and it's designed to hit Daisy hard. Her birthday's in 10 days, and this will definitely be one for the books. I've lawyered up with someone fierce and ready for a divorce battle. All my evidence? It's neatly tucked into a binder, impressing even my lawyer with its thoroughness. Here's the step-by-step plan. First, 2 days before her birthday, I'm heading to our banks to freeze any joint accounts and cut off her access to credit cards tied to me. The house is mostly in my name, thanks to my parents, and my lawyer thinks we can keep it safe from her. The day before her birthday, Troy's wife is getting an anonymous package with the juicy details of their affair, photos, hotel bills, and chat transcripts. On the big day, Daisy will wake up to a financial mess. She won't be able to touch our shared funds, and later, she'll be served with divorce papers citing adultery, backed by all the evidence I've gathered. Ideally, these papers will land at any birthday bash she might have planned. I'm not here to ask if I should do this, I'm set on it. I just needed a place to vent. Pretending everything was fine was exhausting, and now I just want to put it all out there. Daisy built her secret life assuming I'd never catch on, and it's oddly satisfying to prove her wrong. Some might see this as harsh, but I think it's a fitting response. I want her to feel the loss I've felt. This isn't so much a question as it is me chronicling what's about to unfold. Think of it as documenting a well-planned takedown. Feel free to share thoughts, but I'm not changing plans. I just had to write it all down before the final act. Update: it's been 9 days since my last post, and her birthday is tomorrow. Everything's on track, exactly as planned. A massive thanks to everyone who chimed in with support or criticism, it's been oddly comforting. Some folks wanted more details, so here you go. About the voice recorder in her car, my lawyer said it might not fly in court without both parties knowing, but it helped me find other usable evidence. Hearing her talk about specific hotels and dates allowed me to snatch up legal documentation from those places. Others asked how I ID'd Troy and his wife. Well, Daisy wasn't as careful as she thought. In one recording. So, I stumbled upon some calls where she was chatting with a friend and dropped the full name of this guy Troy, mentioning he's a dentist. It wasn't rocket science to do a quick Google search for dentists in our area with his name. Bam, I found his work profile with a photo that matched the guy from some pics I dug up from her deleted files on our computer. That was enough to confirm it's him. Then I spied his social media, where he had tagged his wife in a few posts. Luckily, her profile was pretty open. Once I knew who to look for, finding her wasn't a big deal, especially since I was so driven. Now, on to the money situation. Our main checking and savings accounts, plus one big credit card, were in both our names. I also had some substantial cash from an inheritance my parents left me. I had initially kept that in accounts just in my name, but over the years, she got some access to it for major stuff we agreed on, like home renovations. The house we live in was originally mine too, a gift from my parents. Her name got added to the deed a few years post-marriage. My lawyer gave me solid advice on all this money stuff, emphasizing we needed to freeze the accounts ASAP to prevent her from draining or hiding the funds before things are legally sorted. Divvying things up will happen during the divorce proceedings. My lawyer thinks she's in a weak spot because of her cheating and how she's been spending our shared cash on her side gigs. Some folks asked why go through all this trouble. Why not just quietly divorce her and move on? Well, she once told her friends I was too stupid to notice, and that stung. It felt like a slap in the face, and I can't just let that slide. Dealing with this publicly is my way to respond to her blatant disrespect. Reading stories from others about being cheated on only solidified my decision. Many wished they had been tougher or wished the cheaters faced more consequences. Her cheating wasn't a one-time slip-up, it was a full-blown, long-running affair. So my reaction is also strategic. I don't feel any love for her anymore, just a determination to follow through with my plan. Step 1. Lock down the finances. Done deal 2 days ago. I headed to the bank, where I'd already talked to a senior manager about my situation, and my lawyer was there for one of those meetings. We went through everything thoroughly. I took exactly half of the money from our joint accounts and moved it into new accounts under just my name. Then, I had the bank freeze all joint accounts, so no funny business could happen unless a lawyer okays it. My lawyer had prepared a letter for the bank explaining everything, citing our marital breakdown and the risk of her trying to blow or hide our shared money. After the bank, I hit up the credit card companies to freeze all joint cards and canceled her extra card on my main account. That means her personal bills, like her car and phone, and those subscription boxes she loves, won't get paid anymore. I made sure our crucial household bills are now paid from my new, solo accounts. It was a multi-hour process but totally worth it. Step 2. Let the other wrong partner know. That was yesterday. I put together a tidy little binder for Troy's wife, Mary, with about 20 clear pics of him and Daisy. Some photos were from trips they took, with clear dates and locations, while others showed them being all lovey-dovey. Plus, I included copies of hotel bills with both their names and snippets of conversations between Daisy and Troy from recordings, where they discussed their feelings, their meetups, and how they fooled us. I enclosed a brief, unsigned note for Mary: "You deserve to know the truth about your husband and his long-term affair with Daisy." Her full name included. I used a courier that required a signature for delivery. Got a confirmation yesterday afternoon. Sending it felt like starting a necessary fire. Step 3. Divorce papers. Those are. So, everything's all set and ready to go for tomorrow. On her birthday, no less, Daisy's getting handed the divorce papers I had drawn up. They're with a pro-process server, basically, the guy whose job it is to officially hand over legal stuff. My lawyer made sure everything was spot on, laying out all the reasons, her cheating, and including all the proof I've collected. The papers also detail how I want to split our stuff. The server's gonna swing by Daisy's in the late afternoon. She usually has this little birthday dinner with friends, and I even discovered which restaurant she's picked this year, caught the booking confirmation in her email she left open. Gave the server all those details. But if she bails on dinner, they'll just take the papers to our place instead. As for the bank account, once we froze it, things hit fast. Daisy called me that Monday, sounding all anxious. Turns out her credit card got shot down at a store, and she couldn't access our joint account online. I kept it cool, told her there were serious issues in our marriage and I'd taken steps, per legal advice, to keep our finances safe. Told her she'd get the whole picture soon enough. She flipped out, demanding answers, but I just repeated she'd know soon, then ended the call. She spammed my phone with calls and texts after that, switching between panic, anger, and please. I didn't reply to any. If she's got secret accounts I don't know about, that's on her, but all the money she used to control is now locked down. I haven't heard from Troy's wife, Mary, and didn't expect to. That info package was for her to handle. My focus is Daisy. The house has been eerily quiet. Daisy stayed out super late last night, probably trying to figure out the money mess or gossiping with friends. I've locked up my study where I keep all my evidence. Tomorrow's gonna be the last big move in this phase of my plan. I've got this grim satisfaction about it. Daisy, who thought I was clueless, is in for a rude birthday surprise. Fast forward about 4 weeks since the last update, just over 5 weeks since D-Day Daisy's birthday and the day she got served. The initial chaos has simmered down, but we're still untangling the mess. Heard Daisy's birthday crashed hard. The server did his thing and handed her the papers at the restaurant with her friends. She must have been rattled from the money fiasco but putting on a brave face. Then, bam, a guy approaches, confirms she's Daisy, and hands her a hefty envelope. Word is she read a bit, went pale, then flipped out, screaming, throwing papers, yelling at the server, claiming he'd wrecked her life. Total meltdown. Restaurant manager even had to give them the boot. One of her friends even left me a voicemail, calling me heartless for Daisy's breakdown. Following her birthday, Daisy went all out trying to reach me. Called non-stop from her phone, random numbers, even friends' phones. Plus tons of emails, texts, and voicemails. She swung between rage and threats to tearful apologies and claiming she still loved me, saying Troy didn't matter and it was all a misunderstanding from the call I overheard. Classic caught in the act vibes. I didn't engage, told my lawyer to handle all contact. Her funds dried up fast, found out she didn't have much saved. So, here's the deal. She'd been using our joint account like it was her personal shopping spree for ages, just buying whatever caught her fancy. Her friends, who were always egging her on to live it up and party all night, didn't really stick around to help once they figured out her money tap was turned off. They probably felt bad for her but didn't do much else. She couldn't even manage her car lease payments, so her fancy new ride got repossessed a few days ago. And it's been about 2 weeks since she had to pack her bags and move out of our house. My lawyer got things rolling pretty fast with a legal agreement that basically said, you gotta go, because of how she'd been acting and the fact she didn't have the cash to fight it right away. So now, I'm the one taking care of the house, and I'm planning to hang on to it. I heard she's crashing at a friend's place for now, but it's only temporary, and her friend is already kinda over having her there. After I ignored her calls and she started getting the picture, thanks to some serious legal letters and having no money or access to the house, she went a bit overboard. She showed up at my office, making a big scene in the lobby, yelling for me, and accusing me of ruining her life. Security had to step in and show her the way out. My coworkers couldn't believe it. About 2 weeks back, one of her close friends rang me up, really freaked out. She said Daisy had been hitting the bottle pretty hard, and in a super emotional phone call, she even talked about not wanting to go on anymore and ended up cutting her wrist, though it was just a minor cut. Her friend called 911 right away, and Daisy ended up in the hospital, where they treated her and kept her for a psych evaluation. The doc said it wasn't life-threatening, but it sure was a red flag that she was barely holding it together. I let my lawyer know ASAP so we could add this info to the divorce case. It was clear she was spiraling. After being held for 72 hours, she was let out, and her friends were told to keep an eye on her. Meanwhile, Troy, the guy she was seeing, has also seen his world fall apart. His wife Mary got some hard evidence and confronted him with it. He confessed, and she kicked him out, already filing for divorce. Word is he's a wreck, not because he lost Daisy, but because he's lost his cushy life, house, and maybe even his rep. Daisy tried reaching out to him, probably hoping for support, but he's pointing the finger at her for getting caught. Their little fling is out in the open now, and nobody's giving them any sympathy. The divorce fight is just heating up, but my lawyer is feeling pretty good about our side. The evidence against Daisy is strong, and we've got records showing she used our money on her affairs for years. Her lawyer's trying to get her some big-time alimony and a chunk of the house, but we're pushing back. Her recent meltdown and the scene at my office aren't doing her any favors. I actually ran into her last week by accident at the supermarket. She was in the parking lot, having a massive fight with a friend. She didn't see me, and I just kept on walking. Seeing her like that was a world away from the confident, cocky woman who used to laugh about me behind my back. Now, she's dealing with the fallout of her choices. She's lost me, our nice home, her financial safety net, her public image, and even her affair buddy has ditched her. My days are now filled with lawyer meetings and paperwork, but despite all the stress, there's a quiet, cold satisfaction. I didn't just lie down and take her betrayal. The divorce is moving forward with me in control. My main aim was to make sure she gets that her actions have real consequences. She needed to learn that treating someone so terribly doesn't just fly without repercussions. I think she's finally got the message loud and clear. The guy she thought was clueless showed her just how smart and methodical he can be, and she won't forget it anytime soon.